I'll just read to you the material that I was going to share with you via PowerPoint, and you're just going to have to use your old noodle and use the old noodle and just imagine, I guess, as it relates to some of this stuff that I wanted to go over. First of all, I wanted to talk about first things first. And we do have a sports equipment giveaway this coming Monday, spearheaded by Mr. George Munoz. And it's important that all of us re-engage with the community, especially if you're working with the schools. It's challenging because he's had a few that he's actually scheduled that were that ended up being canceled. And so again, this is the time to go out there and do your part, basically, to make sure that you're up to speed with the relationships that you've built throughout the years. Or if you haven't built any, this is a great time to start, because there's really no competition per se out there because of all the challenges that I just mentioned to you that are going to be continuing for a little while as well. I'm very grateful that the schools have been opened, and that makes a big difference for all of us. And so I want to make sure you are aware of that. Also, I have a picture that I wanted to show you of police officers. I had a breakfast yesterday with a couple of police officers, and this is something that, again, I'm challenging everybody to re-engage, if you would, if you've trained with the law enforcement community, to go ahead and do that. We're going to go into the most profitable, the most productive time, literally, of our business, for the simple fact that Baker to Vegas is back on. I've met with the president. I met with several different people from LAPRAC, and they're going to start promoting us like never before. In the last couple of years, they had some challenges with COVID, as you know, canceling the races, and teams just simply don't have the money. And so what we do, our value proposition has gone up. And on top of that, I used the Flowcode that I'm going to talk to you about to generate a few client presentations, also annual reviews with some of my police officers. And the officers that you see, which you can't see, I guess, I'm sorry, on the picture that I wanted to show you, some of you saw it on Facebook, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. It ended up being not just a thank you breakfast for the two officers that you see there, but it turned into multiple sales. And believe it or not, it ended up being a $22,000 commission morning for me, just from what business that was generated from a simple breakfast with these two officers. And so it wasn't intended to do that, but I do everything in a very calculated fashion. I was hoping it would end up being that, and it did end up, becoming that. So I'm really excited about that. I wanted to show you a few things in the picture that I did that I'll record, and I'll send it to you in a separate form, in the form of a class. And so it's also important for all of you, and I'm talking to all of you that have ever written business with police officers. Probably 99% of the police officers that I speak to that have become clients of FFS, me, or through a lot of you that have worked with me throughout the years, there's no annual reviews taking place. And I say that because it's very important that if you don't stay in front of them, out of sight, out of mind type of thing, somebody else is going to come in and swoop them and take them away or get the referrals that you should be getting. So I'm asking everybody to take inventory of every cop you've ever dealt with and make it a point to reach out to them, send them a Flowcode, and schedule an annual review, and then see who their new partner is, where their new station is, or where their new assignment is. The beauty about working with school police, they all work with assigned schools, so they know the principals know them, they trust them tremendously. And at the end of the day, if the officer says that, hey, principal, this is so-and-so Javier, they will let you go in there and do a staff meeting as well. And so I just really want to stress that to everybody, because it was a very profitable morning yesterday for me, all of it because of a follow-up, just simply invite them to breakfast and the opportunity to break bread. And the person, well, you can't see the person on the picture, but the person with me was just blown away as to what took place in about an hour's time over breakfast with existing clients. And so I'm challenging you to do that, because one thing I don't go back to the people that originally wrote somebody up and say, hey, I met somebody, I ran into somebody, there might be business there, go talk to them. I don't do that. We're all grown men and women. We're supposed to be on top of our own business, our own clients. And so therefore, it's important for everybody here to, again, do that. Reach out to them periodically, not just the annual review. As a matter of fact, the way that I got over $20,000 of business, I simply offered them their vacation to Las Vegas. And one of the officers was there just along for the ride. I always redeem the cost of the Vegas vacations myself for my existing clients. And so I told them that I was going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and pay. And I did. I didn't realize it was already more expensive, but I paid for him. And then when the partner was there, I did the same thing for him. And it turned into a hell of a payday. I mean, it was a very productive morning, having said that as well. So make sure that, again, you do your part by staying on top of that. as well. Now, the nice thing about it, and again, I'm sorry you can't see this for whatever reason. Let me see one more time. If you are able to, we're able to pull it up on the screen, because it's also very important. It's going to tie it directly to production and your income. And apparently it's not going to want to do it. So I'm just going to quit and go right back to where I was. And the other thing that I wanted to show you were the slides from some of our past Baker to Vegas events. They are all full swing this past Monday, which again, you can't see on the screen. However, I have added a lot of you to my police email list. So a lot of you get it, not because I'm sending it to you individually, but because at some point when you were working with me with Baker to Vegas, I added you to my police list. So whenever it goes out to the cops, you see it. And so the email that's on my screen right now that you can't see is the one that basically shows you what it says. And I'll just read it out to you. It says, "Hello, I am excited to announce that we are now taking reservations for Baker to Vegas 2022 fundraising barbecues. We have raised tens of thousands of dollars for running teams throughout the years, and we can do the same for your team." And then it just simply recaps everything we do. We set a date for your barbecue. We donate and bring all the food supplies. Your team keeps 100% of the money raised. And here's my name and number. Spots are limited. Please forward this to the appropriate person. And you can't see it, of course. The next slide is the email from probation department in San Bernardino. We're going to be meeting with them and 100 police officers to present to them. And we're going to do the barbecue on the same day. So we're going to meet with them in the morning for their staff meeting. And then in the at 11, we're going to fire up the grill and do that as well. Immediately after that one, I got, well, you can't see it again, this one from LAPD Van Nuys. We've done that multiple times with them. They're ready to do it. We got to get the approval from the captain that we're going to go in there and knock it out as well. And so again, all of you have already learned how to do this. You've been exposed to it. Many of you have observed it. And so it's just a matter of you going ahead and making sure you do what you do best. Again, the whole purpose of decentralizing a team, as far as I'm concerned, is that we all know what we need to do and when we need to do it. It's just a matter of fact of whether or not we do it. And so now it's different because it's more virtual. All of our follow-ups are virtual. And so it's important, again, for everybody here to maximize the season, because this is going to run until the end of the race, which is going to be in March, April, and it's over. And by March, it will be done. So why not maximize your income? And my goal is to make at least $70,000 personally just from this campaign between now and March. And I'll be gone because I'm going to be gone in February or January, because you know I was gone already. February, we're going to be in Israel. We're going to be shooting a lot of videos for the church campaign as it relates to Jerusalem. We actually make it into Jerusalem as well. And so I'm going to be gone there. And then March, I got to go down back to Kabul. And then April, I'm going to be gone again. Oh, with FFS, we're going to be going to the Europe trip, which congratulations to everybody that won for that trip. In May, I'm going to be in Orlando with my grandkids for Disney World. Then in June, I'm going to be in Ecuador. I've never been there, just for the hell of it, just to go down there. And then we're going to take a break in July. So from now until then, even though I'm going to be gone throughout the month, every single month, I intend to maximize my income. And I ask you and challenge you to do the same. So I was going to show you some of the pictures that I'm not. We're going to talk about Flowcode and Canva. This is something that, as always, I never bring anything to the table until I have proved that it works, or other teammates have also proved that it works. And I'm going to do that here right now with you. Now, what I'm going to start is I'm going to start with this right here called Flowcode. Now, Flowcode, just so you know, in case you don't know what it is a platform that allows you to create not just simply QR codes, but QR codes that stand out. And that's a big deal, because when I strategize with people, for most people, they don't need more leads. You know, sometimes we get caught up in leads, and I don't like that because they can be very difficult to have. And what I mean by that is that if you want to increase your productivity, especially your income, you don't need more leads. You just simply need to close more of the leads you already have. And this can help you do that. Now, how do we do that? There are many things that impact our closing ratio, including technology, including the power of our presentation, including our skills. And so again, there are some times that you control everything, and there are times where you can only control some of it. If I do a Baker to Vegas, like we're going to be doing a lot of Baker to Vegas barbecues right now, there's going to be a lot of appointments to be had. I can't be behind you on your laptop to see how good of a closer you are or not. Maybe your closing ratio is 10%, maybe it's 20. I think it should be at least 60%, but let's just say it's 20 for whatever reason. If we can get you to increase that to just 30, that's a 50% increase in closing ratio, which is going to give you a 50% increase in your income as well. And so that's what I mean by us having to leverage some of these tools and understand what's out there so that we don't just simply go out there and do that. And so having said that, up until now, what I have personally used, which I'm going to show you right now, is, as you all know, qrstuff.com. And that was the way to do things in the past. And unfortunately, too many people are still doing it today. And you don't want to do that for a lot of different reasons. QR code usually look like the ones you see on your screen right now, which is the black square. And to me, that just, it'll work. It's better than nothing. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people that don't use QR codes. So if you're using them, keep using them. However, the downside of the typical QR codes is that they expire. You really cannot know what is going on, how many people are scanning it, how often are they scanning it, and so many other things that you just simply don't control. And on top of that, there's also a tremendous curiosity factor, if you would, that's involved in presentations. And so for me to increase my, let's just say, my overall success and my income, I know for a fact that all I have to do is I just simply have to go in there and get more people to scan it. And the more people that scan it, the more likely that there are going to be people that are going to go ahead and book it with me as well. And so what I'm going to do is, let me see if I can pull it up here real quick to show you and give you a better sense. Oh, here, I'll show you one thing to you that I hope you can see it, or you are able to see it on the screen. And this is from Snagit. And this goes back to what I was discussing earlier with Baker to Vegas. And here's what I'm talking about, the email that I got from probation. Very, very simple. I already spoke to the guy, done. And one of the things that you have to learn to leverage is, if not your contacts, if not your trust, other people's contacts or trust. And speaking with this guy, he was telling me how we've never met, but that we were there to do a Baker to Vegas one, I think 2 years ago, maybe 3. But he was there as one of the participants supporting the barbecue. So he remembered me from there, and that immediately closed the gap in the whole thing immediately. Also, on top of that, let me go back over here and hold on one second, please. Oh, and go, which brings me to the Van Nuys one. The same thing. I've never met the Van Nuys. The gentleman that my point of contact with the LAPD Van Nuys, Argueta Frank. Unfortunately, he suffered a couple of strokes, TIAs to be more precise, and he's out. But he got the email that I mentioned to you earlier. He forwarded it to the current team captain. I don't know him, but in speaking with them, I dropped a few names. Frank, of course, immediately bridged the trust. And then when I mentioned Walter Grant, the sergeant there, oh yeah, Grant. Well, I've known him. I mean, I was in high school with him. We went to the Marine Corps together, joined the LAPD. Immediately, the trust was, and I asked him, what do you do? I mean, what's your duty there? He goes, oh, I'm a detective. Oh, okay, but if you're a detective, I don't know if he's still there, but do you know Lieutenant Gavin? And he's like, yeah, that's my boss. I go, well, he used to be my sergeant when I was at the LAPD. Really? And boom. And so if you can't drop names and trust like that, drop mine. You know my story. You should know my story, because it's part of what's going to give you the success that you seek. And so anyways, I'm going to continue with that. I'll give you an example of flow codes, but I want to show you how I've been using them with tremendous success. And so as you can see, this is the same old-fashioned appointment card that I've been using forever, which is being upgraded as we speak right now. And so what you see there, the only difference with this particular form per se is just the QR code on the right. Now, the final version that I use, which I can't show you because for whatever reason it's not working, has this logo on it. And I'll show it to you right now. You see where it says scan me? That's the only thing that the one that I use has this embedded right here. And the reason that that's so, there's a curiosity factor every single time I use the flow codes, no matter where I go, but people still need instructions. And so as you can see there, that's pretty cool. There's a flow code there with the scan me instructions above it, and you are in business. There are people that would do it just to be nosy. And that's what we want. We want to have that curiosity element. And then, of course, the second part is that when I'm doing my presentations online, I use one of my slides as the actual QR code. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to pull it up just the way you see it right here, and just simply say, go ahead. And I can't show you my PowerPoint like I wanted to, but again, before you have the actual appointment card, do me a favor and fill it out, and we will get back to you ASAP. Also, most of our follow-ups now are via Zoom. So if you feel more comfortable via Zoom, if it's more convenient, we try our best to just keep it all virtual via Zoom. And one last slide is nothing but the QR code by itself. A big, massive target for people to break out their phones, and that's where you have to give them the instructions and say, do me a favor, take out your phones, and they'll do it. Now, aim it, your camera, open up your camera app, and aim it at the flow code that you see here. Don't call it a QR code, call it a flow code, because it is a flow code. And aim it at the flow code, and have them go ahead and just simply capture it. Their phone will automatically open up the link. They tap on the link, and they'll take them to wherever it is that you want. Now, do me a favor. I want to show you, before we do this, I know some of you already have done it. I'm here, right here. This is my police flow code, and it shows 18 scans. What I want to show you, one of the advantages of the actual flow code versus a typical ugly old QR code is what I'm doing right now. So if this is a presentation, let's just say this is a police presentation or whatever you want to call it. Let me see if I have the right one. I don't want to give you the wrong one. So bear with me for just 1 second. And let me see if this is my right one. Can anybody tell me if this code is active? Just break out your phone and let me know if it pops up with the QR code. If not, I'm going to break out the other one. So
yes, it's active.
Okay,
do me a favor. Thing.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so what we're doing, this is what I do with the 403B. And the reason we call it 403B 457 is because some cops are municipal cops. They have the deferred comp 457. Some have 403B for like school police. And so what I'm getting at, and if you already did it, great. But I want to show you one of the benefits of flow codes, because let me tell you one thing. If one thing that you'll know about, you should know by now, is I love numbers. I love data. I love facts. I don't like it when somebody says, oh, I had a great week this week. Really? Okay, what the hell does that mean? 1 application, 10 applications. I was looking at like Marcella. Marcella is the queen of numbers. She knows, she's got her finger on the pulse of the entire team based on the numbers that are quantifiable and measurable. I want to congratulate right now. I'll give you an example. I want to congratulate Daniela. She's the #1 personal producer with 11 apps in the system right now. And nobody else is doing that. Nobody. And so I just want to take a moment to congratulate her. And we know that because that's tangible, quantifiable, verifiable via the actual scoreboard. And so that's what I'm talking about, that we can go out there and knowing that she's productive, knowing that she's, grinding it out, knowing that she's putting out the effort that needs to be put out because she has the results. And I'm not beating up on anybody. I just want to congratulate her because she is a top producer so far this month. Congratulations, Daniela. I don't know if she's on, but if she is, on behalf of everybody, for sending me a great example. Now, also, if you notice this actual on my screen, it's the outline of a business card that you can generate. Now, this can go on the back of your business card. So when you print up your regular National Life or whatever you have business card, you can print the back part. Instead of having it just blank or white like most people do, have this on the back. And it's amazing how much more business you will generate. Now, this is right here, the flow code it's got 18 scans for the police one. I'm going to refresh it. I don't know if people have done it yet. It's going to refresh. See, it went from 18 to 26 total scans. And that's what I'm talking about, that you want to stay on top of yourself to make sure that, again, what you're doing is working, because if it's not, we need to adjust it. If you have 0 scans and you're promoting it, then something's wrong with the code. Nothing can go with the code, but what can go wrong is how you create it, which I'm going to show you right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a QR code. And instead of this ugly one, like the one that you see here, let's just say I'm going to create it for Canonly, just to give you an example. You can send them to a website. You can send them to anywhere. I'm just simply going to go ahead and use mine because I just want to show you what it looks like when you create one from scratch. So having said that, these are a lot of the stuff that I have. Please don't go ahead and schedule anything with me. Whatever, okay? We'll just go ahead and we'll just send it to Google, whatever, because that's my landing page. Maybe that's whatever. So I'm going to send it to Google. And so what I'm going to do is,
Javier,
go ahead.
Dave, I don't know if it's just me, but it's still on the same blue one.
Hold on.
Yeah, we're not seeing anything, Javier.
Got it. All right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Like I said, we're having a little bit of a challenge. All right. Okay. Well, let me go back over here. All right. So let me go back over here. And so as you can see here, I'm going to create a flow code. So I'm going to go to flowcodecom. Make sure you get the free one. Start with the free account. My recommendation, stay with the free account. There's nothing that the other paid ones can do, even though I don't mind. I'm not cheap. I spent thousands of dollars a month on technology. There's just no need for it. So I'm going to create a flow code. Now forget flow page and folder. I'm not going to even talk to you about that. You don't need it. I mean, that's just simple. So you're going to create a flow code. And when I go here, it's kind of like the other one that we had with QR code stuff. So I'm going to come in here. You're going to name it. And I'm going to name it my Google flow code, because I'm going to send it to google.com. Now, here, you would be sending them, of course, to your landing page. You will be sending them to your Canvas, to your smart meeting, whatever you want to do. And it's going to ask you, just like before, what are you going to send them to? Well, here's a link where I'm going to send them to a website, to a file. You can have one of these things for your entire business, to a video. Maybe, I know Knock and Daniel do a great job of maintaining their YouTube channel. Send them there, or any TikTok or whatever. So I'm just going to send it to a simple website. I'm going to go ahead and paste the web address, which is google.com. And here, you can actually go ahead and select and customize it, if you would, a little bit. It's already showing on the right. So if I want to change the color, I click on the color from the color palette or selector, and it changes. Pretty simple, but very powerful. Now, the little lines that are in there, you can even change those to make it up of hearts, stars, triangles, self-explanatory. I usually just keep it there. But theoretically, you can do whatever you want. Now, when you pay and get a pro one, you get more colors. You don't need them unless you want to. I don't have it just because I don't need it. And you can even put a little logo right in the middle of it. So if I'm going to come in here and I'm working with, let's just say, National Life Group, just because of the simple fact that that's what I do most of the time with schools and police, I'm going to look for my file. No, there. I'm going to, whatever. There. I'm going to just use that one, hit open, and boom, it goes to the center. Now, this is especially important if you're doing group presentations in person or via Zoom, like a staff meeting, let's say, because this would be blown up to the size of the screen. I hope that makes sense. So I would have a slide. My last slide is nothing but a big old circle, which is the flow code. That's it. And I'm telling you, if I put National Life Group in there, it's better than it has nothing. I could put an apple because I'm dealing with teachers. I could put a bullet hole when I'm dealing with cops. They love crap like this. I mean, that's just the way it is. And so at this point, your really only option left to do is to create the flow code. Very simple. So I forgot what we call it. Oh, sample, whatever. My Google flow code, my sample. I'm going to call it sample. My sample Google flow code. So hope you're with me so far. I'll walk you through how to start it, how to customize it, put a logo, and then simply create. And so when I'm going to create it, it's going to show it. And there it is on the right here. So I have two options now. I can hover over it, right-click it, and copy image. Great, that'll work. Or what you can do is download it. And when you download it, it gives you the option to download it, and it'll save the file as your flow code. Now, it's important to name it something simple, not for the sake of just the client, it's for you. So mine, I know that this is my sample Google flow code. I know it's a sample, I know it's for Google. If it's my police one, if it's my teacher one, name it what it is. So that way, or maybe it's just a generic Canva link for all your meetings, but you can still customize the specific flow code with a bullet hole in the middle for cops, or maybe an apple for the teachers, and so on. When you download, you'll have a couple of options. You can download just the code. And so when I download just the code, it's going to give me different options. Always go with PNG. Who can tell me what the difference between PNG and JPEG is? Anybody? Anybody?
It's what the printers use.
Okay, that's part of it. Part of it you can use it, but what's one key? And I'll tell you, I'm not, giving you a hard time. The difference with PNG is that it gives you a transparent background. And so I'll do both. So what I'm going to do is download PNG. I'm going to download JPEG. So they both work. However, if you have, let's just say, a blue background on your PowerPoint and you put just the JPEG, then it'll put not just the code, but if you notice, the whole white square around it, which again, it might look good, might work, might not, doesn't matter. I'm just simply saying that, again, if I go with, let's just say PNG, if you notice the back is gray, that's because it's transparent. So I'm going to have a beautiful, and I'm doing beautiful looking slide, especially
We're
if
not
it goes
seeing
on.
that.
Oh.
We're not seeing that, just so you know.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And so here, as you can see, or you're going to see, just 1 second, this is what it looks like when it's, hold on, it's going to pop up right now. This is what it pops up with when it's PNG. You see, it's gray in the back because it's transparent. So all I have is this beautiful circle that when I copy this one and I paste it on, let's just say, a blue page, the page itself remains blue except for the circle versus having the white background, which I'm going to show you here because you couldn't see it earlier, and I'm going to pop it up right now. And so the point that I'm making is that this is pretty cool. It will allow you, here it is. So I'm just going to put the JPEG, which is the one that you're going to see here right now. I know you can't see it. Let me fire it up. So this one, if you notice, the background is white. So if I put this on a black background, I will have a white square, the blue line of the circle, and the black background. It's going to look not as good. I'm telling you, you want to learn how to do things the right way. So you would just simply download the PNG, which is it's going to give you a transparent background. That's really what it's about. And so again, let me go back to the website because I got to move on to the next one, and we can continue. So anyways, so you're going to download your Flowcode, and when you download it, you'll also have another option. If you notice, download just the code, which the code means the image. I just showed you how to do that, but you can also bring in the code in template, and the template can be something that can help you if you're not too tech savvy. Just download the template. When I click on that, it's going to ask me, well, what template do you want? I can do it just as you see here. It's almost basically the back of a business card that I showed you earlier. It's also almost the full size of an actual, a PowerPoint slide. So you can do it here. So you can literally, this is stuff you're going to print. This is stuff you're going to mail. This is stuff designed for packaging, which I'm not going to get into, but you really won't be doing the template ever because you have the code and you can just customize it easier on your actual computer. So you're not going to need it, but I just wanted to show you basically the difference is downloading the code. It's just the image of the code. The template could be something with instructions like this one right here says, scan me. So, I like to customize it better because it takes too much real estate the way it comes out with the template. And you saw how simple it was for me to just add the scan me to my Snagit image earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and end with that. And so the last thing that I want to share with you, play with this. There's a lot of stuff for you to learn on your own. But what I love about this as well are the analytics, the code analytics. If you notice, I clicked on code analytics. This is 0, 0 because nobody's done anything with it. But if I come in here and I go to the my flow codes, there they are. Let's just say the police one. I'm going to click on that one. I'm going to click on analytics, code analytics, and you'll see that just today, 28 people have gone ahead and scanned it. And most importantly, these codes, when they're flow codes, they never expire. One of the downsides of QR codes is that they do expire. And so here you are promoting something, you print it on your business card, or you promote it on your PowerPoint slide, and they expire and they stop working at some point and you're screwed. Not only that, but the QR code only points to one specific file or web address, and that's it. You can't change where you're sending people to after you create it. This one, you can change it after the fact. So if right now, this QR code I created is sending people to, let's just say Google. But then all of a sudden, I don't want to use Google. I want to send them to yahoo.com. I can change here without changing the code. I can change where that code sends people, which is pretty cool. It's an incredible tool that I'm telling you. As a matter of fact, we have had people testing it out on their own so they can kind of validate. And I'm happy to report that feedback has been nothing but positive. As a matter of fact, or somebody, I don't know if he's on, but George was just mentioning to me yesterday, he's been using the Flowcode as well. maybe he can tell you a little bit about it if he's on. George, are you on?
Yeah, no, I'm on, Javier. Yeah, no, I can attest to what you're saying. I mean, I love data as well, but we did a little bit of both. We had a flow code on the presentation itself because we did a virtual presentation to a staff meeting, and then we had the flow code on a questionnaire that we passed out to the school a couple of days before the presentation. And what it told us is that out of we generated 5 appointments off that presentation. 4 came from the actual people scanned the actual QR code just by timing from the presentation, and only 1 did from the questionnaire. So we're gonna do it again on Tuesday, and we're gonna see if the numbers still bear out. Which means most people are just gonna pull out their phone and do the presentation. What I would probably recommend is still do both. Have a questionnaire in front of them that they could pull out, and I'll have to share that with you so you can take a look at the new questionnaire that we put together. But yeah, I think you can just cover all your bases is what I would recommend for everybody. Have it in the presentation, and then if you have it on a piece of paper that somebody can have in their possession, you'll be able to squeak out a few more appointments that way as well. So far, that's what I've seen.
Perfect. And one of the things you cannot be afraid to do, he just mentioned it, is plaster this. There has never been a more important time for you to learn how to use Canva, let's say, because if you go to a school, or even if you do it virtually, most principals will allow you. Now, we do high grade stuff and we do low grade stuff. High grade means a staff meeting where you're on the screen with other teachers. So that means you better put a lot of emphasis on that flow code being nice and big, explaining to people how to do it, giving them specific instruction. So if I'm wrapping it up, lastly, I just want to go ahead and ask you to please pull out your phones. Very, very important. So I'll give you a second to do that. So if you can please pull out your phones, go to your camera app and aim it at this flow code. I want to show you how this works. This is actually pretty cool. People are nosy. They're going to wonder what the hell this is all about. So as you do that, point at it and tap on the link that's going to pop up on your actual camera app, and it will take you to our Calendly or online scheduling platform. And so again, you're giving them specific instructions. Now, what I'm going to do, just so you know, is we are printing up a whole set, which I'll show you how to do that in just 1 minute. And what we're going to do, we're working with a few people that I'm not going to get too much into right now. We're going to go to every school, well, not every, but we're going to go and spend a whole day doing nothing but visiting schools and dropping off a new postcard, beautiful postcard that we have that on the back has a big old flow code. In the front, it has one as well, to do nothing but drop off in the box. That's low grade stuff, just so you know, but it's low grade stuff with a very high success rate because teachers, just like the rest of us humans, are nosy and they want to see what the hell this is about. And we're doing that. Monday, we sent out a next campaign, 5,000 teachers outside of LAUSD, where we're doing nothing but flow-based scheduling now. And then on Wednesday, we have another 5,000 teachers that we're sending it out to as well. And we're comparing to see which one works best and how. So I'll relay all this information to you. But now that you know how to do this, another thing I want to wrap up. Now, any thoughts on Flowcode or questions before we go on? Anything, please.
Javi, I just can't believe that, you're telling me that these QR codes expire. I never, ever knew that. That is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That is crazy.
And even if you go to, like, let's just say, which I encourage everybody to do so, let's just say you just go to the straight up Flowcodecom. One of the reasons now, if you notice, this is the company that I wouldn't say almost all, but most corporate companies are using for their TV commercials. You don't see QR codes anymore. Here's just a few of the companies that are putting big time. And you're going to see this during the Super Bowl and everywhere else on TV because they have a much higher success rate. Look at these companies. What do they have in common? Well, they have in common that they bring a pretty good amount of revenue. I mean, just a little bit. And if it's working for them, why not have it work for you? And the best part is that it's compliant with the privacy. We are in a whole new world with privacy, which is fully compliant. The dynamic codes. At any time, you can change the destination of your code, the design. Well, you saw how to do that. And here, codes don't expire. On any plan, flow codes will last forever. ever, even on the free account. So like I said, I'm using this a lot. I can't believe how much it's helping me. And I still have the free account. But if you want to go ahead and go pro, you don't need to. And we can go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and transition to another platform that I've been using forever that I love. And that is Canva. Now, one thing that we are not doing anymore, just so you know, I am not creating materials for anybody, period. There are some exceptions. The Daniela's of the world or Knox, the top producers, come to me with anything you need, and I will do it myself, or I will pay somebody to do it for you in regards to graphics and stuff like that. I'm here for you guys. I'm talking about the rest of the team because there's comes a lot of people that I spend a lot of time creating stuff for people, customizing it that they never end up doing anything with it. I don't have time to waste, and I'm not going to do that. So I'm not promoting myself as that unless you're a top leader producer. You come to me with anything you need, and again, I will do it, or I will have somebody do it for you. And so once again, we're at Canva.com, free account. Now I do pay for my Canva account a whopping $6 a month or whatever it is, even though all you need is a free one. This one I do pay because I just use a lot. I use this for multiple things, not just for multiple businesses, but there's a lot of people that I strategize with. I'm not going to get too much into it, but that picture I showed you earlier that I told you made me the $16,000, $22,000 total was a referral that I help somebody in the mortgage world promote their business, create marketing materials, and in return, they send business to me. So once you understand how some of these basic skills work, you can monetize the skills by either freelancing, which I don't do. I do it for free for other people that send me business in return that makes me a hell of a lot more money as well. So here we are, Canva.com. Here's where you can create literally anything you need to create, whether it be for print or digital. And so if I'm, let's just say, going to start with, I'll give you an example. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to look for postcard, okay? Now I'm not going to show you, and I'm not going to give you, let's see, postcard, whatever, because I'm going to go ahead and print it. And again, forgive me for not being too specific. I'm just going to be doing a blank one. And so what do I want to do? Well, I'm going to go ahead and start with the teachers. And so all you're going to do, you can start with the template on the left and just customize it. You can literally start like that. I'm just showing you something very generic. I'm going to click on text. You can either do a heading, subheading, small letters, as you can see here, or any of the stuff down here. So if I wanted to click on cheers, there it is. You just click on it and type away. I don't like that font. It's too ugly. I can't read it. When it comes to print and messages, you have to be very direct, especially when it comes to the actual, here, it's gone. So let me just use this. And I know I'm not typing it right, so please don't beat me up. I just want to show you some. And so let's just say I'm gonna market these postcards to teachers. I'm just gonna drop them off. I have discount codes of 15 to 25% off most big printers like Vistaprint. So if anybody gets that far, let me know and I'll give you the codes. Otherwise, you don't need them until you show me what you're going to do with them. So here we go, something like this, and I'm just simply oversimplifying it. Okay, does your retirement plan make the grade? So what else do I want to go? Let's just say A+. Great. I mean, I'm just pulling stuff here out of thin air, so forgive me for. So let's just say I'm going to use this. Now, here's an example of what we're going to get to: JPEG versus PNG. I'm going to just copy this A+. I'm going to go back to my. I'm going to go back to my postcard, and I'm going to paste it. And there's the A+. That's pretty cool, isn't it? However, let's just say the background that you see here. The background is white already, so you can't see the line. That's pretty cool. But what if I wanted a blue? Let's just say, let me just show you this right here. Let's just say I wanted a blue. Let me just go back over here, see if I can. There. Now, as you can see, the background of the letter A shows, and it screws up the field. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. I hope it makes sense. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color of my font to white. So it stands out, pops out nice and beautiful. But this, I don't like the way it looks. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back to it in just 1 second. I'm going to bring up my QR code now. So I hope by now you understand where I'm going with this. So there's a QR code, the flow code we generated with JPEG. And if you notice the square around it, it defines the purpose of the thing being the color. Now, the color is not going to work out, but I'm going to show you what the PNG, and I just want to show you the difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the PNG next to it. And if you notice, it doesn't have its transparent background. Does that make sense to anybody? I just want to make sure I'm not confusing you. Maybe
What you're
Yes.
saying is it doesn't have
Okay.
that doesn't have that square
Yes.
around the outside. It's just
Yes, and so I just changed the color here, and so I'm going to change the letters. Let's just say, whatever, red, just to stand out a little bit more. So, does your retirement plan make the grade? Now, which one looks better? Obviously, the one on the left, right? I mean, the one that without the one that's PNG, the transparent background, and that's what I'm showing you. So, if I had to choose between the two, delete that one. I can go here, put my QR code there, and of course, it would be double-sided, and it's going to have instructions. So what you can do, again, I can come in here back to Google, scan me. Let's just say, but now I'm looking for PNG. You notice that PNG, and you'll know a PNG because it ends with .png, or there's little, excuse me, there's little squares. I'll give you an example. This is all white. That's not PNG, just so you know. That's just simply not. That's not PNG because it's all white. You can tell. And so as you can come in here, you'll start to see, or if you don't want to type in that, you can put in trans background. And so that way, when Google looks for it, so let's look at this one. That's not PNG because I can tell it's not PNG just because there's no, and I'll show you. I'm just looking for something with the background so you can see what I'm talking about of what a PNG. Okay, if you notice this one changed right there, did you guys see how the background has little squares?
yeah.
That's a transparent background. So again, this is ugly. I wouldn't use it, but I'm gonna copy that. And if you notice, when I'm working on Canva, I'm just pasting it into the browser. You see this arrow? How it looks like that? That's a PNG file. So now that's how the professional printers look versus homemade stuff. You can see the white background, black background, really, really horrible, hideous. No, you don't want to do that. And so here, let me just go ahead and show you other ways, I should say, that you can do this. Like for instance, this one, see, that's transparent because it changed. So I'm gonna copy this one. If I wanted to use this one, I'm gonna delete this. An example of like something like that. Now I wouldn't do this, of course. You can find some really clean ones, or I like the instructions that come with. Let me just show you this right here. I like the ones that come with the actual instructions of even the little phone that you saw me use earlier. Let me see, scan me. Now this is a transparent one. If you wanted to do that, I could come in here and use it as a frame. And if you notice, I can use this. So let me get rid of this. That looks ugly. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to make it bigger. There you go, because I want big, nice instructions. There you go. And so what I'm going to do now, let me just move this out of the way. I'm going to put this right. And you still your center, just like in PowerPoint where the purple arrow shows up. I'm going to come in here. Something like that. And there you go. I mean, there's a million different ways to do it. But the main thing that I want to share with you is that let's just say, and I'm just picking on Daniela because she's the top producer this month. Let's just say she's working on this and she wants her team, because, our team sometimes do stuff with campaigns with us. So she wants to share with Knock. One of the cool things about these things is that you can actually go ahead and share this template. So I'm going to come into share template. And as you can see here, you can go ahead and type in their email address or their names if they're part of the contacts, and they can go ahead and click on the link and it will open up in Canva, and then they just customize their own name. So if this is which is not, but if this is my final version of my card that I'm dropping off 5,000 at local schools, and you say, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you send me that postcard with my info? My answer is going to be no. I can send you the link to Canva, and then you can do it if you want to. And so, like I said, that's the beauty of having the technology and knowing how to use it. Because let me tell you something. One thing that doesn't fly in 2022 moving forward is the old, I don't know how to do it. I've never been good with technology. Well, it's a good time to get good with technology. You don't have to be good. You just have to be functional. That's really the good news. And you can go ahead and do that. And so as you can see, between both of them, it can give you a whole world of opportunity to customize your message to churches, to schools, to police departments, because now it gets fun. And so I'll wrap it up by saying that you're going to see me send out emails saying, here's my latest postcard for schools. Now, if you click on it, it'll open up in Canva, and then you can just go ahead and customize it to how you see fit, and you're in business for yourself. Because like I said, as far as, but if you're a top leader producer, I will help you with anything you need to help you make money. But if you're not, then again, I'll give you the link, which is worth a lot in itself. You're just going to have to get familiar with this and learn how to do it as well. All right. Any thoughts before we wrap it up? Because I want to wrap it up for the day. I got to get ready for another webinar. Here's one last thing that I'll tell you. If you're comfortable with this, which there's no reason why you won't be comfortable with it, you can't screw it up, right? Is once you do this, you will be an asset to a church. You can go to a church. You can go to a business. You can go to a nonprofit and say, hey, I can help you out with some of your digital or even print material. And almost anything you ever want to create, somebody already created it in. So if I can come in here and search, let me go back over here. I'm going to go back to my home, and I'm just going to type in teacher or teachers or whatever. You'll come in here. You will literally come in. Let's see, teachers. You will literally come in here and see so many different things. This is a perfect, beautiful image to customize with the right dimensions. Look at the template. I can come up with that. And then again, teachers. Let me just delete this. I'm gonna copy and paste, so I have two of these. I mean, teachers. Again. And I know it looks horrible. You just come up here, adjust the font size, just like you would with anything else. And literally, this is almost ready to print, man. This is good stuff right here. Let me just get rid of this. Boom. You have something like that. I got to italicize it. I always separate this as your retirement plan, make the grade. On the back, when they flip it, it's going to say free CalSTRS pension maximizations appointments available via Zoom. Scan below and shut up. That's all you need to do. Drop them off and watch them start to roll in. Very, very simple. Last questions, comments, concerns before we wrap it up. Anybody? You're welcome. Somebody just said thank you. Shazad, thank you very much. You're welcome. Absolutely. Yes, Satika, you're right. I'm trying to teach you how to fish, so leave me alone. No fish for anybody, but I will show you how to fish. Questions, comments, concerns, anything before we wrap it up? All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hope it was worth your time. And
This
again,
was awesome.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to go ahead.
This was awesome. I mean, this was just, seeing you show us how to do it, not just telling us, oh, go, this website and that's it. You're showing us how to do it. Now, the only thing that stinks for me is I won't remember tomorrow anything about what you just did. So I got to watch the video 5 times.
That's the good news. It'll be up on a YouTube channel here. And anybody, can everyone do me a favor? If you can go to FFS on YouTube.com, go ahead and whenever you watch our videos, like them because it helps the rankings, number one. And number two, if you can subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. It's amazing how many people during the week call me, hey, can you send me the link to the video from Sunday? I was like, no, because you should be subscribed, and it will automatically notify you when it's up and running. And so just do that. FFS. And let me just throw it in the chat because, again, I don't feel bad anymore when somebody says, hey, I was calling you or I sent you a text about the link to the video. I don't respond. I'm so sorry. I just don't. www.ffs on YouTube.com and just simply go ahead and register. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. And they will notify you every time a video. And then whenever you watch a video like it just helps with the rankings. Everybody, thank you so much for all that you do. I really appreciate it. I just want to say thank you. And again, let's go out there and make this coming week the most productive week in the history of our business by leveraging what we learned today. And I'll see you soon. All right. Thank you so much, everybody.